Good morning, good morning. It's terrific Tuesday again. Welcome to today's episode of Morning Well. Three things that we will talk about. Fresh highs on treatment hopes. The investment grade run is set to continue. And a quick FX roundup. US stocks advanced to fresh highs on Monday, buoyed by investors' optimism about a potential treatment for coronavirus. The S&P 500 was up about 1%, setting its third closing record in the past week. The benchmark index surpassed its pre-pandemic week for the first time last Tuesday. The tech-heavy Nasdaq was also up about 0.6%. That's its 37th record this year. The Dow was also not left behind. It also climbed about 1.4%, but the blue chips on the Dow are still about 4.2% below the February's high. The FDA on Sunday said it authorized use of convalescent plasma, an antibody-rich blood component taken from recovered COVID-19 patients for the treatment of serious coronavirus cases. The emergency use authorization falls short of a full approval, the FDA commissioner said, adding that the agency will evaluate for more evidence. On Monday, the rebound boosted some of the hardest hit industries, including the share of airlines, cruise companies and retailers, all of which are still down by double digits this year. Nonetheless, American Airlines was up about 11%, United Airlines was up about 9.9%, Carnival and Norwegian was also up. Coles also ticked up to about 7.9%, and Gap was also up about 7.4%. Across the globe, Europe was up 1.6%. In Asia, shares in Tencent Holdings rose by about 5.8%, following media reports that the US officials had privately reassured American companies that they could continue to work with popular social media app WeChat, is what an analyst quoted. The yields were up. The 10-year yield was up about 2 basis points to about 0.65. The dollar mostly advanced, with the loonie and the kiwi leading the G10 declines. Oil rose and gold retreated. The Asian equity futures are looking mixed. The investment grade run is set to continue, with Royalty Pharma and Glencore type special purpose entity among those looking to borrow. The amount of activity is unusual. Dealers expect about 20 billion in high-grade debt to price this week, versus just one countable deal for about 750 million in the last full week of August last year. Also, Delta Airlines is also preparing to issue new debt. The airline is set to market new loans and bonds secured by its loyalty program after the US Labor Day holiday on September 7th. The deal follows United issuance of about 6.8 billion in a similar new borrowing that happened in June. While there has been this big credit binge, it has not benefited everyone. While bigger firms are setting records for blockbuster deals at historically low rates, many smaller companies are actually getting muscled out. Companies with annual sales above 1 billion account for 78% of global issuers of dollar bonds so far this year. There are lots of reasons. For one, investors want to have the safety of stable blue chip companies in a recession. And, these large companies are taking advantage of it. On the FX side, the US yields traded higher, reflecting the general optimism in the market, which pushed the dollar yen also higher. But the dollar's greatest strength was against other major currencies. So outside of New Zealand dollars quarterly retail sales index, there was no major economic report that was released in the last 24 hours. Consumer spending in New Zealand dropped more than negative 14% in the second quarter. Although this was slightly better than expected, it's still the worst decline ever and explains the underperformance of the New Zealand dollar. The Australian and Canadian dollar also sold off versus the greenback, but AUD was the best performing currency versus the greenback, while Canadian dollar was the weakest. On the Euro USD rejected 1.1850 and will be in focus because we have the German IFO report and revision to the second quarter GDP, which is scheduled for release. While investor sentiment improved, PMIs are weaker, a sign that Eurozone economy is also losing momentum. Virus cases in Europe are also on the rise, with Germany, Italy, and Spain reporting on Friday the highest daily coronavirus infections since April. And as schools begin to open and the flu season picks up, a concern for the second wave could also underpin the euro. So that's something that we are watching out for. That's the update. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.